We're back. Josh Zona is back there gearing up for their first symphony concert of the year. It's coming up at the end of this month. And Josh, welcome. Happy New Year.
Again. Good to be here. So
Never stops.
No, it doesn't stop. We're in the middle of our, basically the midpoint of our season now. You know, our season runs fall to spring. And this concert is called, basically there's no real title. It's the RSO Chamber Players, we'll call it. It's a relatively small group of the symphony. So it's basically about 25 musicians, the first of the wind players, and then a small group of string players. And they're going to be led by a guest conductor from Italy, actually, Giancarlo Di Lorenzo, and he's doing an entirely Italian music program. Of course, you know, that's sort of part of the culture, and you know, they have their own particular way of doing it. So I think it'll be really special for the musicians to get a chance to work with him, and it's going to be great. The music is kind of a broad spectrum of music, of relatively early music, Italian music by Vivaldi. It was a Baroque composer, early 1700s. And then also some 20th century music by an important 20th century Italian composer named Respighi. So, you know, kind of a broad spectrum. Vivaldi wrote a ton of concertos. So they're doing a concerto grosso, which is for a small group, and there's also a flute concerto. Vivaldi, if people don't, I don't know, if people who don't like Vivaldi say he wrote one concerto 400 times because they sound similar, you know, but there's only so much you could do. But he was actually a teacher at a girls' school, and he had to write. You know, you couldn't go to the music store and buy a piece for your orchestra in the 1700s. You know, this is all new stuff. He had to write music for his group, his orchestra to play. So for this school that he taught at, he wrote many pieces for his students to play. And this is one of them. Yeah.
So we'll learn more about the pieces that will be performed.
Yeah. In fact, one of the pieces by Respighi in the second half of the concert is called Three Botticelli Pictures, which is it's 3 pieces of music based on paintings by Sandro Botticelli, who was a painter of the Renaissance period in the late 1500s. And Catherine Pierce from the Art Museum is going to come and do a little sort of, she's going to show some slides and explain some things about the paintings.
Oh, nice.
And then sort of the audience can put it together, how the paintings relate to the piece, you know. So so it's another something a little special.
A conductor from Italy.
How did that come about?
Yeah, so actually he's a mutual friend, and so we got together and made it work out that he comes here, and it's going to be really good because you can see videos on YouTube of him conducting, and you know, it's going to be a really nice thing.
Obviously, they've been practicing and performing. What have these members of the symphony told you about this experience?
He'll be coming in. He won't come in till Friday night.
Wow.
So it all happens over a weekend.
That is amazing.
They'll do a couple rehearsals on Saturday, and the concert is Sunday afternoon at 2:30.
And then they'll be good to go.
Good to go. That's it. So as I said, there's a flute concerto. Our flutist, the first flutist in the symphony, Judy Hand, who's a professor at McNeese State, great flutist, and she's going to do one of these Vivaldi concerti. So it's a really pleasant afternoon of music, really.
Yeah, and it'll be Sunday afternoon,
2:30.
January 31st, around 2:30.
This Sunday at Coughlin Saunders. You can get tickets online, rapidesymphony.org, or you can come. They'll be come to the door and get tickets. That's okay. Or call the symphony office 442-9709.
And then the weather's going to be wonderful.
I know, it's going to be beautiful. So
yeah. And what else is coming up with the symphony later in?
So as I said, we're about halfway through our season. So after this, we have a concert in the middle of March. And then we also have our season finale is in the first week in May, and that's actually a semi-staged, basically sort of a half-staged performance of an opera. We do that every few years. The Anne Coughlin Opera Series is a fund that helps fund that. It's a long-standing thing here in Alexandria, and we're doing the Magic Flute, so by Mozart. And so again, it's not fully staged, but there's not like a big scenery or anything because we don't have that capability in with the symphony situation. But it'll be the orchestra on stage and with actors. It's sort of singing. Obviously, opera singers, actors, and all that stuff.
It's all about the music.
All about the music, exactly.
Terrific.
Thanks, Josh. Good to have you.
Good to be here.
Coming up on Sunday. More to come on our show. We'll tell you about an open house at Prompt Sucker that's coming up soon.